Good morning, Patriots. JT here, Serenity Farms Prepping. Happy Easter to everyone. He is risen. That is the importance of today. But with that, we still need to remember what is going on and what is likely to happen. So I'm going to make a video about what I think the last 2 years were about and what is coming, but still all day my focus in remembrance of him. Okay, so the last 2 years were likely a beta test, a dry run. Now, they weren't completely a test. The cabal, the Democrats, the deep state, if everything that they had done to us in the last 2 years had worked to the percentage that they thought it would, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now, because their objectives would have been well on the way to being achieved, and everything they want to do would be being implemented. So, like any project, we've all done this. We design something we want to do. We put it down on paper. We work it through. Then it comes time to implement it. We don't think that it's 100% ironclad when we lay it out on paper and go over it. We often are going to do it knowing that it's probably going to work, but there's going to be kinks, little chinks in the armor, little things we can do better, but we won't know what those are until we actually put the plan into action. But if it works perfectly the first time we do it, great. Nothing ever does that. And even if it's better than we expected, there's still always room for us to make improvements. That just might be an easier way to do something. The other way might work fine. It's just something that's easier. Or we're designing something with the purpose of being able to add to it, expand on it later. So those little changes can be made, even though there's not really anything wrong with the current system. So, as the deep state cabal, we know without a doubt that the thing was planned many years ago. Okay? They put it together in 9 months? No. We know that is completely unrealistic based on past evidence of any other thing that was created. Okay, so this plan has been in the works for many, many years. With that physical part of the plan, which has been happening the last couple years with everything, that part had to be field tested. They already knew what these were going to do, and we're still finding that out. But they didn't know how everyone was going to react when told they had to do it. That's the part they needed to see and feel and get feedback on. Okay? They're not really disturbed by the fact that it's very likely less than half the world's population fell for it. Okay, the numbers are nowhere near what they want you to believe they are, or they wouldn't keep pressing. They can't do this, excuse me, they can't do this unless a much higher percentage of the population has all gotten that. So, they wanted to see the reaction to all the illegal and unconstitutional mandates, and would people become violent? Would they protest? Would they riot, assault, loot, burn? Or would they just bend over, roll up their sleeves, and comply like sheeple? Well, it went about 50-50, I guess. But 50-50 spread out over 7 to 8 billion people and the size of the globe isn't nearly enough. It's a lot, because that's 50% of the population that very likely aren't going to be around within 10 years, can't reproduce, are going to be disabled, useless eaters, and likely put down. We're still worried about how much they can share their new affliction with the rest of us. Now, the portion of the population that did, they're also being beta tested to see how good the control mechanisms within it are going to be able to control them. Some people will die from everything that's going on inside them, and some won't. It's based on each and every particular dose, because we know they weren't all the same. Okay, so that was first phase. That has happened. They didn't realize that so many people would not go along with the program. So there was a chink. They knew there was going to be a percentage. There always is. But they didn't know it was going to be this many. Then they didn't know that there were going to be so many people that would be exposing everything that's going on. Now they're hoping a lot of the population isn't paying attention, because that's what the other distraction in Europe is all about, and to cover up some of their nefarious actions that led to this. That's all that's about. That's a distraction. Okay, while they're huddled up and getting ready to run the next play. And they're throwing us little hints about it again. Is it going to be Ebola? Is it going to be, odds are very good it's going to be some type of hemorrhagic fever. People, you bleed out of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, blood just comes out of you everywhere, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So that won't take but a few cases here and there that the fake news runs with, and it looks like there's millions and millions, and there might be a handful. But half the population has already proven to these Dems, deep state cabal, that they will submit and comply instantly to any type of fear-mongering without one little bit of research. They're just afraid. Okay, so they can bring that out to do another lockdown. You see what's happening in China with over 400 million people. That's over a third of their population. Locked in their houses. Apartment entrances are being bolted and welded shut. No food. People are starving. They're jumping off their balconies, committing suicide. Their animals are being taken and put down. Why? All reports, there's been no deaths besides the people jumping off the buildings and killing themselves. There's going to be mass starvation deaths, but there hasn't been any deaths from any supposed bug. All right, that is going to affect our bottom line over here because all the cheap crap we get that no one's making. Food supplies, we already know everything that's coming. Right now they're doing body blows. Okay? They're softening you up. Couple rounds. Everybody has kind of got back to normal. They've been lulled into a false sense of security because here in America it seems like we're over it. Well, some of us were over it right from the get-go. We never went for it to begin with. I mean, we still see the idiots walking around with the useless things on. There's nothing we can do about those people. Nature will take care of that. But there are still certain cities, Cesspool, New York City, and things like that, where people still think it's a real thing. Okay? But overall, Americans have realized, most of us realized it was a scam. A lot have realized that it wasn't nearly as serious as they said it was. And they're moving on. They're watching this hand. They should be watching this one. But they're the same people that have fallen for what's happening over in Europe. So they're looking right here at all the big lights and glitter and loud noises when it's the quiet people you gotta watch. Always, always, always. So I expect right along when we hit early October-ish, election-ish kind of time, which can't happen, that's when people will really begin to realize there was no food planted and harvested this year, and the food that have been eating up until the fall was last year's. Then it begins to get colder. The fuel prices will necessarily skyrocket. Everything is going to come together right about the time where people start going indoors anyway. And then all of a sudden we're going to start hearing reports. It won't be here. It'll be in cesspool countries. Very high populated cesspool areas that, oh my God, there's a new this or a new that. And it's spreading like wildfire. And they'll do the same thing they did with all the fake numbers and fake tests and running up fear and hysteria. And the 24-hour fake news Democrat media will have it on a loop. They'll all be using the same story, blah, 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 blah. And in come the lockdowns again. And if we allow them to happen this time, there truly will be no coming back. Now remember, the UN is trying to get a treaty with 194 countries that, if all signed and agreed upon, would take effect in 2024, that during the case of any MCE, mass casualty event, that the UN's rules, that treaty they want to put together, will supersede any individual country's laws. No matter. We're locking everybody down. The U.S. says, no, we're not. Oh, you signed the treaty. You're locked down just like everybody else. Well, everybody's going to get... No, we're not taking it. Oh, you are. You all signed the treaty. Okay? And then we can make another video what those are all about. I think everybody knows by now what those are really all about. And Bluetooth in your phone. And yeah, okay? That's a deep rabbit hole. But there's still a chance to get some long-term food storage. www.storagechef.com, SFP15 for your discount code. I know I sound like a broken record, but we have to be around in a year to stop this, to rise up. We should have done it by now and we haven't, but we have to survive. The pure bloods have to survive. Get it anywhere you want. But like I said, Mountain House is shutting down production. Augustin Farms, hard to get anything. Prices are ridiculous. Legacy raising prices a lot. May 1st, I'm researching some of the other companies. Storage Chef will likely have to raise prices as well at some point, but they haven't told me yet. There's no supplies left for these companies to get to make the foods that we should be storing. Do what you can. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, praise God, JT, signing off.